he decided. Mister gave her an ultimatum. He forced her. I know that, and she chose to stay with him. For a short time, but that's not the case. They're leaving for
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our audience and IIUans. I, Professor Nada Ratkovic, the co-founder of IIU Europe, the president of IIU Research Center, board member of IIU, heartily welcome all of you from the International Internship University on this great certified global trainer program. Piyush Pandit, the visionary, the educationist, always have a dream to provide education to every learner across the world. He believes that the world is changing drastically, so there is a need to make changes in the education system. With this thought, Piyush Pandit concocted the world's first digital internship university, International Internship University. In 2020, IIU is providing quality, skill-based, affordable, accessible, location-independent, and skill-based digital education to all the learners across the globe, along with the internship opportunities and research facilities through its 1,000+ virtual courses to all the learners across the globe through the platform of the massive open online courses. IIU is accredited with the World Education Organization, International Accreditation Organization. Let me mute all. Please, Dr. Nithi, accept the people. I tell you, admit all. You are a co-host.
Right. I will do it, Nada. I'm there. Don't worry.
Okay. So, in a short span of time, IIU has spread wings in 195 countries and 6 continents with a team of 1,000+ experienced and qualified global educators across the world. IIU is registered in India, Australia, Nepal, and with USA government. The digital education by IIU is for all, without any hurdles, as per the own wish of the learners, and without any financial stress, which is easily accessible in every corner of the world. So first, I want to thanks to our great CEO, Dr. Snikta Kadam, for conducting this great program, the Certified Global Trainer Program. We will be together and go through the 7 modules. So today we have 2 modules, Module 1 and Module 2. One module is from our Sir Ravik Moore, the role of a trainer, and from Dr. Nithi, the ethics and code of the conduct. So let me first, also I want to say the great greetings to our great Vice Chancellor, who is today also with us, our great Professor Charles from Nigeria. Welcome, Professor Charles.
Very much. Pleasure.
Thank you. Also, I welcome all our great attendees, and it's my honor to introduce our first trainer for today. She is Dr. Nithi Bansal. She's a bilingual poet. She's published author and editor to various literature magazines. She loves power yoga with all passion and compassion, having done modeling stints and given voice owners on the air, an avid marathon runner, and been on various literature platforms for poetic renditions. She is a recipient of various world and national records on poetic front. She takes pride in announcing the launch of her book, Shades of Emotions, Access Karaoke, as I her recent publications. Let Oria Talk is Nidhi's last venture, in which she is candid conversation with professionals talking about their passions in life from her YouTube channel, Orientini. Also the director of magazine Liter Affectionate, blending literature and style. Dr. Nithi is also our IIU core team member. So without wasting so much time, today we have 2 amazing, awesome trainers. I want to invite our Dr. Nithi Bansal for the first module today on the topic ethics and code of conduct. Welcome, Dr. Nithi.
Thank you so much, Professor Nada, for this very warm welcome. And I welcome all the global students from all across the globe for the Certified Global Trainer program. And I'm honored to be a part of this beautiful, this wonderful, most progressive institution, International Internship University, where we are talking about knowledge and imparting knowledge and learning through every field that we can to every nook and corner of the world. And that is such a mammoth effort taken by Piyush Pandit sir, and giving us all an opportunity to be a part of this global learning platform. And today, the module I would like to take upon is ethics, code and conduct, and skillful communication, which are the most important aspects of our daily life, which we need to know about and exercise in our daily life. So students, I welcome you all again, once again, to this certified global trainer session. And topic for today is ethics, code of conduct, and skillful communication. I'll be sharing a screen with you, and soon we are going to learn a lot of stuff here. And the screen is being shared with you. Today, we are going to talk about ethics and code of conduct. Just a moment. They are equally important in communication. Now, when we talk about ethics, it refers to certain principles and standards that guide individuals and groups to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong behavior. And we need to have clear understanding of the principles set by the organization, and which includes honesty, integrity, respect for others, helps in building trust and credibility. And ethics, like when we talk about ethics, very skillful and impactful communication, it involves being honest, transparent, and respectful in all interactions, whether it is being with your subordinates or being with the management. And it involves respecting the listener's opinions and feelings and refraining from using any kind of wrong language that would affect the working of the organization as a whole. And that may be discriminatory or offensive. It also involves maintaining confidentiality when necessary and avoiding any kind of conflicts of interest with the management and with all those working with you. And so when we talk about, now moving on to what is code of conduct. It is a set of rules and regulations that define the expected behavior of employees and stakeholders within the organization. So there are so many people working in the organization at different levels, be they subordinates, the employees, or the management as a whole. And there are certain code of conduct, certain rules, certain principles have been defined so that each one of them abide by them and in the fair working of the organization. The code of conduct is usually based on the organization's values, principles, and ethical standards. It is important for the ethics and code of conduct in business cannot be overstated. They help to build a positive organizational culture that fosters teamwork, creativity, and innovation. Ethics and code of conduct can also promote accountability and transparency, because when you are following a set protocols, set rules, which are equal to all the employees, the subordinates, the colleagues, the management, top level management, and all the different levels of management, it helps in having good governance and compliance with regulatory requirements. In conclusion, ethics and code of conduct are essential components of business success. Now, these two go hand in hand. They might sound quite similar, but they need to be abided by each member of the organization. And they may be like to build trust within the stakeholders, enhance accountability and transparency. However, the success depends on their implementation, enforcement, and integration into the organizational culture. Now, what are the different types of code of conduct? Integrity. When we talk about integrity, it means you are making certain principles and you are abiding by it without any kind of unbiased behavior towards any of the colleagues or subordinates. And confidentiality. Now, there are certain principles or rules that are certain aspects of the organization which needs to be maintained, a privacy needs to be maintained. And that is what confidentiality is all about, that we should not, discuss those matters with anyone because there are certain things which need to be only in the confinement of the organization. Objectivity. Now, when we come to objectivity, it means that we need to be, when we talk about adequate level of, knowledge that we need to have, and application of that knowledge, we need to, transfer to like whomever we are communicating with. Now we come to professionalism in code of conduct. There needs to be a certain type of, when you talk about professional knowledge, of course, we've spoken about it, that you are going to proceed into a matter in a very professional way, the rules that has been laid out according to them. And that is like, you are being very professional in your approach, means it's been going to be systematic. It's not going to be biased by any kind. It's not going to be influenced by anyone. And when we talk about competence is that when you know about different the aspects of the organization, we need to be competent enough to take decisions, and we need to take the matter in our hands and know that within the code of conduct, we are able to carry forward our day-to-day exercises and routine work. Now, the code of conduct, when we talk about it, that there should be a decent outlook towards every employee that we have been engaged with, and of course avoid filthy language. Now, being good, being honest, being friendly never goes out of style. Formal attire, of course, when you look at a person, you should get a positive vibe about how he is going to be a part of a very warm and friendly atmosphere, and going to be in compliance with the organization, and a very congenial outlook towards the entire organization, because it takes a long way into it's going to build a lot of trust, and we're going to take the organization in a very big way. And if avoid harsh language, of course, nobody wants to listen to anything which is harsh or unpleasant. Pleasant appearance and compliance with rules and regulations. Of course, rules and regulations is the most important part of code of conduct. We need to follow the rules set by the organization so that we build a trust with all those dealing with us. And of course, it's in the favor of the organization and the employees and the management as well. Coming to communication now, like even if you are an organization with skillful people around you who are knowledgeable and everything good, but if you do not have impactful communication, that is going to be a drawback. And that communication needs to be impactful, effective, and most powerful. And now coming on to the word, the English word communication is derived from the Latin communis, meaning common sense. The word means transmission and interaction of facts, ideas, opinions, feelings, or attitude. Communication is the essence of any management. Of course, because this is the one link that connects to the top level management, and it seeps down to the bottom level management as well. And so if the communication is not effective, is not powerful, and you're not being able to express yourself, of course, a lot of things go haywire. And the basic functions of management, as we know, are planning, staffing, supervision, and management. And all of these cannot be done effectively if we do not have proper channels of communication, and we are not being able to convey our messages, read those messages, encode, decode, all of them to have smooth functioning of the organization. And what is communication process? The communication process is a two-way process, of course, which involves which involves sending a message, receiving it, and communicating it, giving a feedback. So we have this entire chart giving us an idea about what communication is all about. Now, communication can be done in various ways. They can be written messages, they can be on calls, they can be on body language also plays a huge role into communicating. Eye contact, emotions, thoughts, these are also very strong careers of communication, and they play a big role, not only by only the written word or the spoken word, but these also trigger a lot of communication, helps in communicating, and sometimes are more effective. So what the entire communication process is all about is you send a message, the sender sends a message to someone. It can be an organization, a person, individual, anyone, and encoding it in a particular way and through different various channels, maybe through emails, through letters, through WhatsApps, or maybe just a phone call. And as the receiver gets the message, he or she starts decoding in their own way. And if this communication, the message which has been delivered, is in a way easier to understand, the feedback, and both the parties are on the same page, understanding each other, decoding, encoding the same message that each one wants to convey, the message that each one wants to convey to each other. So it is very important that the communication should be simple so that the sender and the receiver are on the same page. And now, what is the importance of communication? Why is communication most important in all stages of planning, executing, and everything that we need for an organization to run smoothly? The manager explains to the employees the goals of the organization, the methods of the success, and the interpersonal relationships between them. This provides communication between the various staff and departments. That communication serves as the basis of collaboration in the organization. Now, communication foundation, when we talk about this, it is the basic foundation where they establish the management, the employer, and the employee, establish a relationship where they communicate the goals, the importance of all the goals, the protocols set, the rules and regulations set by the organization, which the employee needs to know, because these are the rules he's going to follow all through his term during his employment. And so this needs to be communicated very effectively, because he should know what are the goals, what is the mission, what is the vision of the organization he or she is working for. Functionality, the manager coordinates the individual and physical aspects of the organization in order to run efficiently and effectively. The integration is not possible without communication. This we have already spoken about in the communication foundation. It means we need to communicate the rules and regulations clearly to the employees. Improves management ability. Moving on to the third point, the manager transfers targets and issues instructions and assigns tasks to subordinates. Of course, a manager who is going to delegate authority, delegate work, so he needs to transfer targets. He needs to make the employee, the one who is working for him, to set targets, to set goals for him. And instructions have to be followed, assign them tasks so that they are able to reach a bigger goal in a proper manner. Because if these are not communicated in a proper way, not related to them, they might not understand the importance of following them, and definitely it's going to, the organization pays along with it. And the basis for decision making, of course, good communication provides information to the manager that helps him to make decisions. Of course, in an organization, there are so many people working, and it is for the manager to take all the information and give all the information to the employees, whichever is needed for them, and to make decisions, because he needs constantly to give instructions and take feedback from them. And so they also must report back to him so that he can take decisions regarding the whatever the work they are doing, the task that the company needs or the organization needs them to follow. Thus, communication is the basis for making the right decisions. Now, there are certain barriers to communication. When we talk about barriers, what are the problems that we face for communication, which lack of proper communication leads to a lot of problems in the organization. So let's talk about them, like lack of proper style and feedback. For instance, if you are giving an information to your subordinate about a certain task, and if you are not giving him proper information, not giving him proper tools, not giving him proper maybe the data is not in the proper way. And so obviously the work is half done, because you are not communicating in a better way. And so half things are communicated back to the employee. And then when he gets back to you, even he understands something because it was a halfway theory, he understands a very little less, or maybe he understands something which is not being properly given to him, and he returns in a wrong way, in a lesser communicated way, and then things become haywire. And because content is not related to customer requirements, sometimes customers provide you with, they come up with some problem, but because of lack of maybe content, they are not fully, they don't have full knowledge about what the product is all about, or maybe the services they're talking about, and they get back to you in a different way, and then you are not being able to understand, because then there's a gap, a lag divides the customer and the seller maybe, or the company who is dealing with that particular product or services. And so when there is lack of communication, they're not able to connect to you, personally in a proper way. So sometimes there is a difference because in understanding from both the parties. And so these are the barriers of communication. Failure to maintain dual communication. Sometimes we do not, follow back, because if there is a problem and we are not following back to it, so there is a gap in communication. And definitely when there is a gap, things do not fall in the right places, which are not in the favor of both the company and the customers whom we are dealing with. Lack of horizontal flow of ideas, because there are certain levels of hierarchy, and which we need to understand, because if two employees at the same level do not have a understanding of each other, and the flow of ideas is not correct, or the flow of idea is not positive maybe, or there is some problem, some communication gap, it also leads to lack of communication in an organization. What the most important thing is that when an idea flows, it should be distributed equally among all the employees, and there should be a fair understanding of these rules, regulations, and then each one should be communicated in the similar manner. Sometimes when these things do not happen, stands a problem. Semantic problems or errors, lack of leadership, lack of enthusiasm, lack of support from heads and leaders. And definitely when there is a problem in leadership, if the leader is not sometimes it happens that he or she is unable to communicate, to transfer the ideas or suggestions, or maybe the orders that need to be carried out in an effective way, in a way that the subordinates, the employees, able to understand. So there stands a problem. So and that it leads to lack of enthusiasm when you do not get the feedback in a proper way. So then what happens is the employees get there is a lack of enthusiasm. There's a lack of they do not wish to work they're not getting a positive environment probably. So they feel that they are not too enthused to work for that organization, and maybe they lose interest in it. And when there is a lack of support from heads and leaders, sometimes also when leaders and the head of the organization do not give them proper feedback, do not give them proper understanding, do not listen to them, do not give them ideas, or do not support their or listen to their grievances. So sometimes there happens, these are like barriers of communication, which we need to do away with, so that the entire organization works in the most effective and most congenial atmosphere, where ideas can be communicated to and fro. And keys to effective communication: modulation. Now, modulation, as we all are talking, when we talk, there are certain times when we need to stress on a particular word, maybe, or a particular phrase. And what happens is, with that pitch, that sound, that tone, the volume of an individual's voice, it helps to emphasize on certain words and phrases. And then when we are talking, like even if I'm talking right now, so if I say modulation refers to the variation in the pitch, the tone and volume of the individual's voice, this is just flat. And you can, these all words mean the same to you. But if I say modulation refers to the variation in the pitch, tone, and the volume of the individual's voice, means I'm emphasizing on pitch, tone, and volume, because I need these words to be registered in your mind. I want them to be emphasized, to be highlighted. And this also is a strong way of communicating that these words, these particular words, maybe are a sentence or a phrase I need to emphasize on. and it gives more impact, more clarity, and it creates a dynamic and engaging experience for the listener, because the listeners then become alert, because these are the words that I am emphasizing on, and they need to hear it loud and clear. However, when we overuse these modulations, which of course, when we say modulation is an effective way of communication, but sometimes we emphasize on the entire thing, and overuse of modulation can be seen as insincerity or manipulation, because we need to, when we are modulating the entire our speech probably, or anything that we're saying, and when we are doing that, what happens is, we are trying to be manipulative. We are trying to be, trying to impose. So which makes the subordinate maybe probably feel a little inferior, and the effectiveness of the communication, somewhere the connection is like cut short. And here we need to strike the right balance between modulation and authenticity is utmost, and in the most natural way. You do not need to impose yourself, but of course, modulation does help in emphasizing that the message that you want to convey to your listeners. Annotation. Annotation is a way to convey different meanings or emotions. For example, you are surprised, there is an excitement or a certain sarcasm in your way of talking. So we can use this because we sometimes only a body language, only sometimes a change of tone, or maybe even the way we express that particular word gives the listener an indication of how this message is being tried to convey. So how we are trying to convey this message. It refers to patterns of rise and fall in pitch of the speech. It enhances the meaning, understanding, connotations, and context of the speech. Because sometimes when we say, oh, like for very example, oh, so it means surprise. It also means, oh, so this means excitement. Oh, so a sarcasm. So this O word, a very small word, but these are used in 3 different ways. And the way it is said, the annotation that has been used, it defines a lot about what the person is trying to convey. So sometimes maybe that person may not say directly, but the way he has used that particular word or phrase or sentence decides a lot about what he is trying to convey. And I think that's a very effective and psychological way of communication. Clarity is yet another important aspect of communication skills. It involves expressing oneself in a clear and concise, precise manner using appropriate and a very simple language. Because there are times when there are people who would just want to use a lot of technical terms and just to show their supremacy over the knowledge they have. But the other person, the one on the receiving side, may not be able to understand it. And sometimes you just need to be very simple, very clear and transparent in what you say. There should be clarity of words and thoughts in what you are trying to convey. And confidence is also crucial in communication, because when a person is unable to understand what you are trying to convey, what message you're trying to convey, so sometimes the confidence shakes, and that is not communication. That is, you are just trying to overshadow the other person with the knowledge that you have. You want to show it off, but sometimes clarity, simplicity is what is required. And when there is clarity, the other person who is wants to, maybe there is a doubt, there is a suggestion which that person is offering, and yet because you are not the one who would listen to him or give him or her the clarity of thoughts of that idea, maybe it makes the other person he doesn't want to trust you. He does not want to respect you for that, because you are trying to belittle him. So let's be all clear and let's be precise, concise, and very simple in our communication, and which goes a long way in building trust and, of course, loyalty. And this is all that I have for you today when we talk about ethics, code of conduct, and communication. I hope it was good enough, good communication we had between us. Of course, you were at the receiving end, and it was only one way as of now, but I'm sure we would have all communicated in a better way. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Professor Nada.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nidhi, for your great training today, for giving us the formal attire, the pleasant appearance, so talking about the harsh language, warm, friendly atmosphere, conducting compliance with the rules and regulations. Uh, we will, in each one of this training, we will always mention this, the code of ethics, because this is a set of rules. We have the principles. These principles need to be designed. We need to encourage that even we are learning, when we are writing articles, books, everything. So I hope that we conduct with Dr. Nidhi the difference between the code and ethics. It is not the same, the code of ethics. It is a set of the principles based on the values, and code of conduct. It is a set of rules and regulations. So that is not the same. But without wasting so much time, I will be also one of the trainers. So then I will talk about this. I want to now introduce a famous great trainer. He cannot wait. He can't wait to start talking. He's our great Dr. Ravi Kumar. Our great Ravi Kumar today will have the model 2, the role of a trainer. He will give his overview, the qualities, talking about the professionalism, techno-savvy, modern pedagogies, leadership, good humor. Dr. Ravi, he's an Army veteran carrying nearly 4.5 decades of experience behind him. He has served in the Indian Army as a telecom and radio engineer for 3 decades, and post which he has dedicated his service with utmost devotion in upskilling the rural and semi-urban folks in English language, communication, interpersonal skills, following the employability skills, MS Office, career counseling. He's also an expertise in BFSC, retail, FMCG, automobile, mind mapping, SWOT automobile, and many more domains. He has trained more than 80,000 students and nearly 10,000 employees across India. That includes the government, the PVT organizations, corporates of the late. So nearly 50 plus students for choosing and developing their career in the respective area of interest and their existing skill for the expertise. I can talk about our great Ravi, sir. He has so many certifications, the leadership skills, the retail from NCDC, the master trainer, mind mapping, instructor, evaluator, academic counselor, soft skills trainer, MS Office International, communication, carrying out, selling, and etc. Welcome our great Dr. Ravi Kumar and enlighten us today and our great attendees. I will give you the permission. You can share your screen. So welcome and please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. And I'm very much pleased, and it's my pleasure to be here as the trainer for day 1 for taking out this session for the requirements and roles of a trainer. So with that, without wasting any further time, I would like to share my screen and then start the session for the day. Before I start, I'm very much grateful and thankful, and also would love to extend my gratitude to the founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, who has given this wonderful opportunity for me to be here and be a master trainer with all of you and share my experience and also exchange your experience, and I can also learn from you a lot. That's what the basic of a trainer, actually. And I would also love to extend my thanks to Dr. Snigdha Kadam, who is the backbone of the Indian version of IIU. Right. Further, without wasting any time, I would love to share my screen. I hope the screen is visible to all.
It is coming. Yes, it is. If you can put Dr. Ravi full
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, I just put it through to the.
Yes,
Oh.
it is great. Yes, it is great. You can start. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Welcome all the participants across the globe. Very hearty greetings of the day to each and every one of you. And also, I welcome all the dignitaries and the team of IIU for this wonderful session of Train the Trainer for on the global platform to become a global trainer. So with that note, I'll straight away jump into the today's this thing. So as practice to all of us, the first and foremost thing for a trainer also as well as for a participant to follow certain ground rules like always be open-minded, be attentive, let your bulb be lit, let it not be off in your brain. Ask as many questions as possible so that any clarifications are required, it can be cleared at the same time, or you can post the questions on the chat box and it would be read out and I would give the clarifications and clear the doubts. Always be on time, which I was not today. Sorry for that. And always open your camera so that we can see the participants, so that it will give you, though it is a virtual session, it will give the feeling of being on the face-to-face session. Participate actively and please keep away yourself from your mobile or any other such electronic gadgets and be attentive here in the session. So with that, I'll be taking you through the today's session, that is of a role of a trainer. So to understand the role of a trainer, right? So the role of a trainer is to understand what is the main overview of a trainer. What exactly does the role of a trainer means? The role of a trainer is hidden in the spelling of the trainer itself. If a trainer can understand what exactly the trainer himself or herself is, then it would be very easy for each and every one of us to understand the role of a trainer. So let us understand what is a trainer or who is a trainer, right? A trainer is a polite person, right? He should not lose his temper or her temper. He should be always polite so that whatever the situation is there, whatever the conflicts arises, he can understand that and give a suitable solution for those things. So now let us understand what exactly does a polite means to a trainer. So as a, I don't know how many participants here do know me. I am very much used to acronyms. In almost all the verbal terms that I use, I convert them into acronyms. So let us understand what this acronym polite does really mean is. So the P is a trainer should have a pleasing professionalism, right? Pleasing professionalism in the sense should have a good subject knowledge, should look professional, and should be well groomed, all these sort of things. That is what is known as the pleasing professionalism. Then the trainer should always be objective oriented. Here the objective oriented will simply make us to understand that on the day of the training, what is the topic a trainer is going to impart the training on that particular topic. So in a vertical or in a domain, what is the topic that particular day or for that particular session or for that particular period, what is the topic and what the topic is related to and would benefit to the participants. The objective should be that of a trainer. That's what is known as the objective oriented. A trainer should always be inclined towards learning. right? It's not that if I am a trainer, say for example, today I am the master trainer over here and many such master trainers are here on this platform. We shouldn't be carried away with that in our mind that I'm a master trainer, I know everything, right? So a trainer should always be knowing that, yes, I am training the participants, true, but I can learn a lot of things from the participants even. Because learning is a two-way objective, it is not a one-way objective, right? So a trainer should always be a learning-oriented person or a learning-inclined person. Then a trainer should always be an interactive person, right? So interactive here, that does means that he not making just speaking all the things, whatever he knows or she knows, and just delivering the training sessions. Interactive here in the sense, a trainer should be capable of making even a rock to speak, even a boulder to speak. You should hit on the rock and make that rock to speak. Yes, I am the rock. Yes, what do you want from me? Or I didn't get you what you are asking from me. Make that rock. That means even an idle participant should be able to communicate with the trainer, and the trainer should make that idle participant also to communicate in the training session. That's what an interactive session does mean. Then it should be transparent, no biasing or no partialities or no discriminations. Nothing of this sort should be there as a quality or as an attitude towards a trainer. A trainer should always be totally transparent. Then a trainer should always be empathetic. When the trainer is empathetic, only then the trainer could be able to understand the actual requirements of the participants, right? In any session, many participants might be knowing many things and might not be knowing many things. So all the participants may not be equal. So before that, I said it should be transparent. So if a trainer, a participant is a bit weak or another trainer is a bit strong, it should not be carried away with that. It should be empathetic to interact with even with the most weakest participant of the session, should be able to make that participant to understand what is the objective of the day and what does that particular topic of that day would benefit that particular person. That is where, when a person gets down to the level of the participants, as I always keep on saying, if you need to pick a thing that is fallen down, you need to bend down to pick it up. The fallen thing will not come up if you are standing straight and erect, right? We as trainers, we pick up the participants, we bring them up, we skill them up, right? So to pull them up, we need to get into their level. That means we need to get into their shoes. We should understand what are their constraints, what are their difficulties, what are their fields where they are not able to understand it very clearly. If you can get into that particular level of that particular participant, then it would be very easy for us to deliver our topic of the day. This is what the empathetic here does mean to a trainer. Then the role continuing, a trainer should always be an ego person, right? A trainer should always be eager to deliver the sessions, eager to learn from the participant, and eager to make participant learn whatever the knowledge the trainer possesses. So what does this eager mean here? Ego means a trainer should always be an enthusiast. He should be enthusiastic. He should not be pale or he should not be dull while delivering the session, right? He should be totally topic oriented or he should be totally session oriented person, whatsoever may be at the backside. That's why the creator has given the eyes in the front side so that we can look at the front and go forward, right? So that's what the enthusiastic does mean for a trainer over here. And then a trainer should always be an assertive person. A trainer should never be an aggressive person, not a very passive person, both professionally as well as personally. You should always be an assertive person. Always should be paying gratitude to the platform, to the participants, and to the person who has given him or her the opportunity to deliver that particular session. It's not that we are only gratitude to the platform which has given us the opportunity, or to the consultant, or to the agency which has given us the thing. A trainer should always be with extend his gratitude or her gratitude even towards the participants for making that particular session to go successfully. Then a trainer should always be an extrovert, should not be an introvert. A trainer, if he is an introvert, will never be able to deliver any sessions, cannot be interactive, cannot be able to discuss anything. Always a trainer should be an extrovert, and a trainer should always have this culture of being reciprocative and realistic, right? Whatever the examples a trainer quotes during the session, whatever the deliveries the person is doing, whatever the quotes the trainer is quoting, all those things should be realistic and reciprocative, should always respond assertively to the queries or the questions raised by the participants. Then let us understand who is a trainer. What exactly does the meaning of a trainer word mean? Right? Trainer is a person who trains someone on a desired aspect of requirement of an organization. A trainer is the one who instructs or guides the participants to develop a competency and skill set to perform effectively and efficiently in the workplace to improve and enhance the productivity of the organization. Another meaning for training is that trainer is a person who communicates to the trainees about what is expected from the training in a simple and in a very professional way. So now let us understand what is professionalism. So professionalism is another thing. Is it being a professional trainer? Is it the term trainer itself is a profession? But taking the trainer as a profession will not suffice to be a trainer. So one should display the qualities of a professionalism for that particular term as a trainer. So what is the professionalism, or what does this professionalism should be there present in the trainers? The first and foremost thing a trainer should ask himself or herself is that what makes you unique? What is that one quality in you that makes you to stand above all the other persons, that attracts you apart from all other persons? That unique quality. What is that unique quality is there in you? Identify that unique quality in you. Work on that. Improvise on that. Upskill yourself on your uniqueness so that you can be identified as one amongst the hundreds or hundreds of thousands. Then what do you offer that others don't? Even I am also a trainer, many other trainers are there. What is that one thing that I offer to the participants, or I offer to the organization, for the organization to be benefited, which others are not able to offer to that particular organization for that particular training session? Then, what is the experience and the results do I have that others don't have? What are that realistic experience? Here, experience in the sense, what are that experiential learning a training has earned while delivering so many sessions, while conducting so many trainings? What is that experiential learning? With that experiential learning, what is that difference one can bring in the participants so that the participants can bring in the changes in the organization? And what are the positive results that are brought to be seen in the participants and also in the organization that others couldn't do it? Then, do you have specialized training or certificate that sets you apart? As a trainer, so for example, I am the trainer for communication skills. What is that specialized training that I have done? Or what is that specialized certification that I have done to become a communication coach or a communication trainer? So for example, I have done the certification on the ICF, International Communication Federation Coach, ICCF. I have also been certified as a communication coach from one of the international training organizations. How does that help me to deliver my sessions of coaching or training in any of the training sessions? What is that uniqueness I have while undergoing that training, or what is that one thing that I have learned from my trainings which I attended to get myself certified? Can we be specifically able to mention that particular quality in us? That is what is the specialized training or the specialized certification gives the value for us. Else, just getting the, for the sake of getting the certificate, we attend many trainings and we get the certificates. That doesn't mean any value to us. Are we implementing those training learnings in our career, in our training sessions? Are those learnings giving any positive results? Are those things benefiting our participants? These are the things a trainer should always keep in mind to become a very professional trainer. This is what does a professionalism means. And finally, once all these 4 qualities are developed in a trainer, then we can question ourselves, why should people do business with us? Or why should people contact us for delivering the sessions? Then, a trainer is always an adult trainer. So a trainer should basically understand what exactly is an adult learner is. So to understand that, we should know what are the assumptions to the adult learner, or what assumptions an adult learner would be having, right? It is called as a SAROM. An adult assumption in an adult learner is known as the SAROM. SAROM means self-concept. An adult learner should have that self-concept that is known as the self-direction. Should be able to get himself or herself directed. Should be able to have the concept of the training. What is that I am going to give the training, or what is that I need to learn? That concept should be there, that self-concept. Someone should not induct that into your mind and say that, yes, hey, this is the concept of the training. You go and sit in the training and you will be benefited. No, it should not be that. Then, what is the experience one is carrying behind him or her? This is a very critical thing in the adult learning process. When we do trainings to the adults, adults would be having that mindset. I am having, or I am carrying these many years of experience, and I am having this much of knowledge in me. What this trainer would train me, or what the knowledge this trainer would give me. A trainer should well assume this characteristics of an adult learner and should be able to handle the adult learner accordingly. Then the readiness to learn. It is always difficult to find an adult learner to be eager to learn or very ready to learn. But if the trainer is very interactive, along with humor and empathy, can make that learner or the adult learner to be ready to learn something new. Then an adult learner should always have that orientation towards learning. That means to be able to solve the current problems. And finally, motivation to learn. These are the 5 aspects a trainer should always keep in mind about an adult learner and work out on these 5 aspects and get ready to deliver the session. When a trainer keeps all these 5 things in mind and prepares the content and gets ready, gets practiced of the content, whatever he or she has prepared, keeping these 5 things in mind, then a trainer will always be a success. Then let us understand what are the characteristics of a trainer. The major characteristics of a trainer, as per the Kolb's learning style, is that learning is seen when a person is led through a cycle of 4 stages. What are those 4 stages? One is of having a concrete experience, followed by the observation of and reflection on that experience, which leads to the formation of abstract concepts, that is the analysis, and the generalizations, that's conclusions, wherever is required, and which are then used to test a hypothesis in future situations, resulting a new experience. Right? So the Kolb's theories always says that the learning style is that experience, reflection, conceptualization, and test. Was that experiential learning style is a theory which is typically oriented by a 4-stage learning cycle in which it touches all the bases. So a learner basis, what are the bases of a learner? The basis of a learner are act, do, and experience. Then have a reflective observation which tells us about the look back and assess yourself, what went well and what did not go well. And once we look back, or when we get back to that particular reflection type of learning, then what would happen is that one can identify his or her own gaps. Then abstract conceptualization, that is making sense of the experience, draw conclusions. Finally, active experimentation, that is after you learn something, you implement that in one's life. That is what is active experimentation, which will be able to make you to test your conclusions and also conscious plan of action. Once you are able to test yourself and come to certain conclusion, and then it will give you a caution how to apply this learning and plan for those actions. So the concrete experience, a new experience of or a situation is encountered, or a reinterpretation of existing experience, then the reflective observation of the new experience of particular importance or any inconsistencies between experience and understanding. This is that's what I said. Inconsistencies between the experience and the understanding means able to identify our own gaps and should be able to abstract the conceptualization that after giving this reflection, which gives rise to a new idea, which gives the way to new exploration or to do some modifications on an existing abstract or the concepts. Then finally, the active experimentation, this will help us, the learner, to apply his or her idea or the ideas to the world around them to see what happens. What would be the result? Result could be seen only when we apply those things. Without applying anything, we cannot see the results. So the results would give us the experiential learning, whether something has gone wrong. You see, doing mistake is a human nature, but repeating the mistake is not permitted, because repeating a mistake will become an offense. Doing a mistake is allowed because people learn from the mistakes. Do mistakes, learn from it, correct yourself, fill the gap, go forward. But if you repeat the mistake, then it becomes an offense. So let us not do offense, even if we can, if we are committed to do a couple of mistakes. Then the concept of a trainer is that he map, she swap. So again, it is an acronym. He map, H stands for humor. A trainer should always carry humor with him or her, should be always humorous. It doesn't mean that to be humor means should not be spoiling the environment, should not spoil the training environment. The humor should always be related to the training objective, what is being delivered. So keeping the environment light and cohesive. Then, as I already told you, a trainer should be having empathy. This I already explained, so I am reiterating it. Recognize the suffering, understand the universalization of the human suffering, should be mindful, should have that mindfulness in him or her. That means the state of awareness and practice with self-awareness. That means before going to the session, should carry out a self-SWOT and should also be aware of the social awareness and should always have the emotional balance. Again, a trainer should always be assertive. That means assertive in the sense, hail, means should be honesty, should have the authenticity, and also should be having that integrity and carry the love towards the participants. And also to the topic, whatever he or she is delivering. Then, sorry, presentation. Should be a good presenter. Should be able to present the objective of the day in the well-deserved manner, so that that delivery will give you fruitful results. So to be a good presenter or to give you a good presentation, always follow this 5 P's principle. What are that 5 P's principle? Or that plan. After you plan the day or after you plan the session, prepare. Prepare yourself for that particular session. After preparing for the session, you practice it. Once, twice, thrice, n number of times you can practice so that you gain the confidence of delivering the session. Then project it. Then project it to the participants. And after projecting it to the participants, always participate. Let not only the participants be feeling that it is a one-way communication, right? You should also be a part of a participant, even though you are a trainer. That's what is, I was always saying, ki two-way learning. We should allow participants also to say something or interact with us, or if they are having anything to be presented, let them present. You participate in that. Be a participative trainer. Then SheSwap simulation. S stands for simulation. The simulation technique is another major tool a trainer should always use, this technique would always enable the adult learners to gain skills, competency, knowledge, and improvise the behavior. Then humbleness. A trainer should always be humble, should not be proud, should not be carried away by the knowledge, whatever he or she is having. Because knowledge is not one person's wealth. It cannot be kept in a bank locker and safeguarded. It is always a open wealth, right? Nobody can steal it. Nobody can snatch it. So be humble. So being humble, it is a quality, right, which needs to be developed. That opens the door of success much more faster, right? And which would make us to look everyone equally. That's what I was saying, no biasing, no partialities, right? And it also takes away any emotional imbalance or the sentimental imbalances if you are being humble. And then enthusiastic. Certain terms are getting repeated again and again because these are very key factors of a trainer, which a trainer should never forget. A trainer should always be enthusiastic, should carry enthusiasm in him or her. If enthusiasm is not there, the entire training would become totally dull, right? So it is the difference between having to do a task. Being enthusiastic means it's a great difference between what? Having to do a task or wanting to do a task. Right? In English coaching classes, I do say that there's a lot of difference between I must do it, I have to do it. Right? These are the two things where the compulsion or the obligation is injected into these terms. Having to do is the compulsion or the obligation for the self. Right? I have to do it means I will have that compulsion or I will have that obligation on me only, for me. That is the responsibility of me. That makes me to take the ownership of that. If I had to do the task for wanting to do it, then it is the obligation of others. Like, I must do it because someone is forcing me to do it. I'm doing it for someone else's obligation or I'm doing it for someone else's force. I'm compelled to do this by XYZ. That should not be there. Being enthusiastic means wanting to do it. That is what we call it as will to work. That will to work should always be there in a trainer. Then the skills, the skill sets. The skill sets, very specifically, if I mean to say here is that a trainer should always try to inculcate, rather than try to inculcate, I would say put effort to inculcate 360-degree skills in him or her. So that would enable a trainer to answer any queries of a participant at any given point of time. That's what I mean to say, a very attentive learner. A trainer should always be an attentive learner, keen to learn new things. Learn the same thing again and again, no problem. It will give you a way for you to explore many things when you relearn the same thing. It gives way for exploring many new things. You will get many new ideas. Right? That sort of a skill a trainer should always develop to do something with more precision and which would add something more to the existing abilities and move ahead in the growing world. Right? This is what I mean to say ki, in the very first thing I said, ki, what is that uniqueness in you? If you have to develop that uniqueness, if the trainer wants to be unique in himself or herself, then should always focus, should always make efforts to upgrade or upskill himself or herself in 360 degrees. Then, willingness. A trainer should always possess that willingness, whatsoever may come. Right? Whatsoever may be the situation, whatsoever may be the obstacle that is in front of us. Yes, I am willing to do that. May get delayed for a while, may get prolonged for a while, no problem. But show your willingness to deliver. Show your willingness that, yeah, I can do that. That willingness should be possessed in each and every trainer. That is what is known as the demonstrating the quality. When you demonstrate that quality of readiness in you, or you give that consent to do anything at any given point of time, that is what is known as the willingness, which should not have, or which should not have any external influence or external pressure or compulsion. That is called as willingness. That's what I said, the difference between to do and have to do. Then attitude. Attitude plays a very major role. But let me tell all of you one thing. Attitude is not inherent. It is not hereditary also. It is a sort of a behavior. It is a sort of a culture that is being developed on as the days goes ahead. How does an attitude comes to a person? It all starts from the very beginning stage itself. That is, we call it as observation. First, you observe something. The consistent observation makes you to practice that thing. The consistent observation makes you to practice that thing. When you practice that thing, that consistent practice of that observation makes a person to become habitual to that. That means you cultivate that habit in that person. When that habit is consistent, when your habit continues without break, and if you are reluctant on that particular habit, then that displays a person's behavior. That behavior, if it is consistent again, if you keep on continuing that behavior in you or in a person, that behavior becomes the attitude of that particular person. So attitude is not developed all of a sudden, or it doesn't grow in a person all of it or overnight. It has these 5 stages to carry. To develop a good attitude, to develop that positive attitude, always have that positive observation in you. That's what I was saying, to be assertive. To be assertive. Right? So it is a cognitive or effective behavior that shows adjustments, ego defensive, value expression, and knowledge to transform from can't do to I can. Right? This is where an attitude can be changed over a period of time. It will not stay. The stain of the attitude can be easily washed over a period of time. So let us not color this term attitude in us. Let it be in black and white so that as and when we learn some new things, we can impart that and we can implement those new things in us. Then the passion. Passion to learn, passion to deliver, passion to train, and passion to develop. It is an intellectual thing, right? Though it is an intellectual thing, it involves that emotional and physical drive in a person, which is generated through positive actions, through the heart, mind, and soul, and also the body, to make something possible. If you have passion to make the stone to speak, you'll make the stone to speak as well. So there's a difference between the passion and willingness. So never club those two terms. Passion and willingness, they are entirely different two terms, though the context may look similar to it, but it makes a lot of difference when we understand the context of the content. When we understand the context of the content, then it would be easy for us to understand each term that is being explained over here. Then the next role of a trainer, the very important role that a trainer should always possess or always carry behind him or her, is that the ability to conduct the TNAs and find out the TNIs. I repeat again, the ability to conduct the TNAs and inculcate the ability to come to the TNIs, means identify the training needs. TNA is training need analysis. Before taking a training assignment, a trainer should always carry out the training need analysis. That means, what is the need of the topic here? What topic would suit this particular participants or the group of participants? What vertical of training or what domain of training should be given to these particular participants? First, find out that need analysis. What is the need of the training? Analyze the need of the training, the topic, the vertical, the domain, whatsoever it is. Post that, have an interaction with the participants and learn from them. Conduct a TNA with the participants and learn. You will find the gaps of the participants. That is what is TNI, that is training need identification. What needs to be trained? What is that gap in these participants for which I am here today to fill those gaps, and I can train these participants on that gap so that these participants will be benefited. In turn, the organization would also be benefited. And let us see how to perform this TNA. TNA is termed in two different ways. Certain people say that it has training need analysis, or certain people say this as training need assessment. Both are same. So what is the TNA? TNA is an approach, or we can also call it as a systematic approach or a processed approach for determining what training needs to take place. Then it is a method of determining whether a training need exists, or if it does, what training is required to fill the gap. It seeks to identify accurately the levels of the present situation in the target surveys, interviews, observations, etc. Then identify the gaps between the current status and the desired status, which will indicate the problems that may arise, and those in turn can be identified as a training need. The analysis is being done by understanding where they are now. Means what is their current status? What is their current level of knowledge? And to what level they need to be upskilled, or to what level they need to be upgraded. So when you compare those two levels, you will find that gap, you will find that difference. So that difference, that gap is the training need identification. So where they need to be from there, where they need to be now, tomorrow, or for future. That is what is training need identification is. So their skills, their knowledge, the gap, the behavior, the mindset, all these things count when we do the TNAs. And finally, performance after filling the gap. So it doesn't stop there only. You have to conduct an assessment. That's why it is called as training need assessment also. You need to conduct an assessment post-training. After the training, compare the level, what was the pre-training level of the participants and what is the post-training level of the participants, what is the improvement that they have brought in themselves, and what are the further gaps are there. Those things need to be identified, and what are the benefits that after filling those gaps. Then there are 9 steps that can be carried out for conducting the training need analysis. The 9 steps are, the first and foremost one is that determine the desired outcomes. So once you carry out the TNA, this is the gap. After fulfilling this gap, what would be the outcome? Where this participant would stand? Where are they standing now and where would they stand after this? You have to determine that. That means the benefits of the training. Then link the desired outcomes with the employee behaviors. When you carry out the analysis, that is pre-training analysis, compare the today's behavior and compare the behavior, what would be the behavior after attending the training and after implementing the learnings of the training in one's life. And where would they be kept at? Where would they be standing at? You link that relationship. Then identify the trainable competencies. So you have to identify the competency of the participants. Then it would be easy for a trainer to conduct the training or impart the training according to that level, understanding the competency of a participant. Evaluate the competencies and determine the gaps. The 5th, prioritize the training needs. Prioritize the training needs means once you come across gaps after conducting the TNA, you identify some TNIs. Those identifications are known as the gaps. you have to prioritize those gaps. Which needs to be filled first, which needs to be filled next, which needs to be filled third. Say for example, there is an empty jar, right? In an empty jar, if you fill that empty jar with pebbles first, and then you can pour sand or any grain into it, it can get filled into it. And even after that, you can pour water into it. That is how the priority should go. Instead, if you fill the jar with water first and then try to fill any grain or sand into it, the water will spill out. And post that, if you would still try to put the pebbles, pebbles will not go inside only because the sand is already there. Prioritize that identifications. Then determine the training methods. What are the methods of training if I can implement in this particular training session? How would this benefit the participants? And for different types of participants, what are the training methods or what are the training tools? What are the delivery methods I need to inculcate myself for making the entire batch to learn from your training sessions and getting the benefit out of it. That is what is called as always have the training methods are method A, method B, method C, as we do it in the planning, no, plan A, plan B, plan C. In the same way, before getting into the training session, even though there is a TNI and TNA are carried out, always carry with you method A, method B, method C. Then conduct the cost benefit analysis. Whenever we do conduct a training need analysis, it also caters for some cost. So always it should be amicable. It should be a win-win situation for both. It should not be one-sided, right? Or it should not be a heavy levy on one side. So it should always be a cost benefit one. So analyze the need as a cost benefit analysis. And also report the analysis and the findings to the person to whom it needs to be reported. And plan for the training evaluation finally. These are the these are the 9 training need, these are the 9 steps that needs to be carried out during the training need analysis. Then the goal setting, which is very important. Actually, this should have been there in the very top, but I always keep, this is my uniqueness. This is my way of giving the training because whichever is important, right? That's why I want to walk the talk. The saying goes, last but not the least, right? So the goal, it should have the top priority. But if we tell the top priority in the beginning, people will not listen to the less priority ones, so that the learning will not be complete. So I'll go in a descending order. That is my uniqueness, so that people get to learn each and everything, right? Then comes the goal setting. What is that goal setting in a trainer is? Set the target. Each trainer should set the target for himself or herself and achieve it within the stipulated time frame, right? Yes, today I'm supposed to deliver the training. So what is the target that I need to? For a trainer, target is not that I can train 100 number of participants. That is not the target. The target for the trainer, to be specific, I will tell you, the objective of the training is the target. Can I get into this objective of the training? Can this objective be learned by the participants within the stipulated period of time or less than that, completely, so that with the leftover time, I can give some more to the participants. That should be the goal of a trainer. It is not that I am having 20 or 40 slides today and I will complete everything today within 2 hours. That should not be the target. That is not the goal. So, what is needed to be understood first? To set the goal. What is needed in you? Can you set your goal? How do you set your goal? The first and foremost thing is that if you want to set the goal, if you want to achieve that goal in the less than the stipulated time, you should have that focus. If a trainer doesn't have the focus on the topic or on the objective of that, the success cannot be achieved. You cannot reach the goal. So the focus should be 100%. The question marks, whatever I have left here, these things are left because you need to fill your goal. You need to fill your ideas, whatever you want to fill here. I'm just giving you an idea. Right? When you go to the Google map, the Google auntie will be speaking, but I am the Google uncle here for you to take you through the training sessions. That's it. Right? I'm just showing you the road map. You need to travel on the road. Right? So then should be aware of the competition. The competition outside and the competition inside. Both the things should be understood by the trainer. So you should prepare 100% to be ready for the competition. The competition should be a healthy one. It should not be a controversial one. The competition should always be healthy. When it can become healthy? When you exchange your knowledge with your competitors. Only then it can become healthy. Only then you can be 100% prepared for the competition. When one exchanges the knowledge of each other, the competitors, amongst the competitors, you can explore many new things according to your ability or capabilities that you can explore. And that can be a new invent for you to deliver in the competition. That would bring you a lot of applause. Then the conquest. Conquest is the thoughts. That's what the unique ideas I was saying now. When you are having a good, healthy competition, that means exchanging of knowledge with your competitors. And you get into this unique idea. This would take you to the place of conquest. Means you can conquer the success. Then one has to work on the SMART technique, which is common to almost all the things. And also, just by working with the SMART technique would not suffice to achieve your goal or reach your destination. Along with SMART, you should also use this 5D technique to achieve the set goal, right? Because most of you know what is SMART, but many of you don't know what are the 5Ds, because this is a invention made by me, right? So that now I'll make you to take this invention made by me so that it would benefit many of you, right? So the SMART is, which would refer to, say, specific. You should have a specific goal in your mind, which should be measurable, which is achievable, and which is relevant to you, and finally, which has the time in it, or which is timely done. This is the common definition for the SMART technique. But if you have to achieve this smartness in you, if you want to become smart, right? If you want to become smart, you have to inculcate or you have to implement this 5D technique. Only then you can become smart. So what are those 5Ds? Let us see now. The 5Ds are the desire in you. You should have the desire in you that I want to become this, or I want to do this, or I want to get this, or I want to reach here. The desire should be there in you. Only when you have the desire, that will make you to have a good sleep in the night. When you have a good sleep in the night or in the day, then that will take you to this level. That is, you will dream. You will be always dreaming on the target that what you want to achieve. Whether you sleep in the day, whether you sleep in the night, or you sleep around the clock, the dream will always be there in your sleep. Even it can be a daydreaming also. So when you have the dream and desire in you, you should dedicate yourself towards that particular goal. The dedication will come to you only when you are devoted towards that particular goal. If you are not devoted to that particular goal, you will not have the dedication. If it doesn't have the dedication, your dream and desire is a waste. Then finally, again, the last but not the least, to achieve the first 4 Ds, you have to achieve the 5th D first. That is the discipline. If you don't have discipline, if you do everything in a disciplined manner, you will get to this level, that is, you will become smart. So, how do you achieve your goal? I will give you certain options. If you love those options, inculcate in you, implement that in you, practice that in you. Let me see how much difference it would bring in you. And see, there are 2 options that I am giving you. Whether you want to try to achieve your goal or you want to put effort to achieve your goal. That is left to you. Now let me clearly make you to understand what does this term try means or what does the term effort means. Then you can decide, because the choice is also yours. Right? I won't force anyone to take the options of either of these 2. Right? So let us understand what is try according to me. According to me, the try means, and what is effort is, try is taking rest yet. Or it is also can be termed as true reverse of yes. If you want to try, it is your option. Or if you want to put effort, effort stands for effectively focusing forward on reaching the target. That is the initiation taken by the initiatives, the ownership. Whichever the option you want to adopt, you can adopt, because the choice is yours. Let me also make you to understand what does the term choice means. Choice is check honestly on the initiated chart encryption. That is, your goal is your encryption. You have to prepare your chart. Your goal chart is yours. You have encrypted it, but you have to check it honestly. That is what is choice. And that is either of the 2 above. You can choose your option and be an achiever in the life. So what a trainer should be? A trainer should always be tech savvy, because no one can predict or no one can be of the conclusion or the opinion that this is all what would happen or this is what is there in the training sessions, right? Because the technical things are moving so fast, right? So a trainer should be a tech savvy, should be able to design the curriculum and should master the teaching. That means the learning process, how to make the participants learn. What are the process that could be imparted or that could be taught to the participants to learn the learnings of the day in the right manner. Then also having a knowledge of the modern pedagogies, because even the pedagogies keep on changing day on day. So one should have that knowledge on that. And a trainer should always be a leader. If a trainer is not a leader, then nothing can happen. That means a leader is the one who takes the ownership and one who takes the initiatives. So before I conclude the day, it is the time for any queries or questions that you need to put on the chat box or you want me to clarify any, and also please chart out the 5 key learnings of the day. I would be more happy if I can get 5 key learnings of the day that you have learned from both the trainers of the day. Before I say thank you so much to everyone.
Professor, can I ask one question, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, I was going through your teachings today and was very, very valuable to me, especially as a learner. So I just want you to clarify something because it just struck my mind when you say that willingness and passion are different. Can you throw light into that, please?
Yeah, sure. Very much. Very beautiful question. Willingness and passion, right?
Yes,
Willingness is the thing that differentiates a person between having to do and asked to do the things, right? That is the willingness. Suppose if someone asks you to do something for his sake or her sake or someone else's sake, that means you would be doing that in the obligation of someone else, right? You may not be interested to do that, but because of the external force or because of the external obligation, we carry out that task. And having to do is the willingness. That means I have to do is because it is my responsibility. I am the owner of this, and if I do this in this manner, this would help so many people. That's where that enthusiasm comes into the person. That is what is willingness. That means taking the ownership, taking the initiatives, and doing the things. And whereas the passion is the creation, that you tend to show your interest towards that. And you feel, yes, even I can do that. If I have to do that, this particular thing, say I need to train a bank employee today. If I have that passion in me, right, I will learn that the strategies of a banking training. I'll get into the content of the banking training. I'll learn that because I have the passion. I have that willingness in me, right? That is the difference. Passion is your interest, that your inclination to learn something new, to do something new, and your interest that exposes you to do more and more. But willingness is another thing, that you do it on your own, which makes you do. But willingness has two things, no? If we are doing it for someone else's obligation, that will not become the willingness. If you don't have passion, you will straight away neglect it. But having the willingness will take you to the passion. Yes, I am willing to do this. I have to do this means I have to learn this. If you have to learn, you have to possess that passion in you. Without that, you will not be able to do it. That's what the difference between the willingness and the passion. Hope this answers your, or this clarifies your doubt.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's always welcome, sir. Any questions, please?
So it's not a question. So I mean, it's just a request from my side.
Yeah.
Could you please show me that slide of 9 ways how to do TNAs?
Yes,
training.
excuse me, ma'am. I will share that slide on the group because we are having the upcoming conference at 10 o'clock,
Okay.
right? Ravi sir, please share it with me.
Sure,
I
ma'am.
will
Sure,
share it on the scholars group.
sure
And
ma'am.
thank you so much. Indeed, a wonderful session. I request Professor Nada to sum up today's day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I want to first thanks to Dr. Ravi for a wonderful session. Dr. Ravi, you can close your presentation, please.
Yeah, sure.
I hope that our great attendees are very, very satisfied today with our great 2 trainers and with the first 2 models. I already said for Dr. Nidhi about her session. I want to say to Dr. Ravi that I like these acronyms, what you are using, because when we want to remember something, this is the easiest way. And if we want to explain something and to understand, also it is. So this profession, like this educational qualification, when you say PET professional, educated, trained, so qualification, language, communication, the speaking, the personal development, confidence, knowledge, soft skills, hard skills, life skills. So everything what you today tell us, it is really amazing. The trust. Who is a trainer? Like example, you say T like trust, irrelevant, architect, the intellectual, non-discriminative, elevator, and relearning. This R really is important for us. Relearning, we always need to relearn that things. And for me, very, very impressive. He map and she swap, explaining us all what is the simulation, what it means, with what kind of techniques, what means humbleness, to be enthusiastic, what skills do we need, what is the skill. So it is not the same as you explain us, the willingness and the passion. Passion is emotional, physical driver. Willingness is something, the quality, if we want to present something. And how to present, the 5 rules of presenting today. This is also for us very important. And I will suggest this Kolb's learning still for everybody. This is not only for the education. It is really important when we are learning about the machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, when we are making our research, we always need to go through this Kolb's, and not only Kolb's, we have David with the Kolb's, the experience, reflection, making the tests, doing the conceptualization. So what will I say to our great Sir Ravi? Never stop sharing your knowledge, never stop sharing your voice, because you never know who you are inspiring. And yes, today you inspire us, you inspire our great Dr. Queen Elizabeth, our great Professor Charles, our great Dr. Snikta, all of us, all us, our attendees here. We have an amazing educator from Georgia, Katuna Karkeli. She's a PhD in the English, and I see that all of our great attendees today are satisfied. Tomorrow we are coming with the new topics. Tomorrow we have 2 new topics, so you will learn with our great Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth on the Model 4 tackling the challenges. Today was the first day of the challenges. Today we were learning the role of the trainer, and from our Dr. Nidhi, what about the ethics and the codes. Tomorrow, Dr. Queen and Professor Vasudev Balanese, sir, with the topic skills needed. So tomorrow we have a new challenge. Till tomorrow, let us stay safe, stay healthy, and please tomorrow join on the time, because after these sessions we always have another session, so the time is also very important. Thank you, Dr. Katuna. Yes, these days were really the very interesting presentation. Professor Charles, please, the Vice Chancellor, very quickly, summary, few words.
Oh, today has been a very good day, powerful day. I thank God for the trainers. They really tried very well. God will continue to lift you high and empower you with more wisdom. As you are giving out those information, God will increase you. God will give you more energy and more power to do more works. It's always good we share our experiences. And I thank God for all the trainers. They are good people. They're going to also do good things tomorrow. And my sister, Professor Elizabeth, I know she's going to give justice to her own too. Other trainers, they're also going to do good things. And God will going to empower every one of us. Kudos to IIU, great IIU, our able, our visionary educationalist, founder, Advocate Sir Piyush Pandey. God will come to bless him for giving us this platform to showcase the glory of God. Now thank God for our COO. She has been trying to. God will come to bless her. Thank God for my sister, Professor Nanda. God will come to bless you for all what you have been doing. Every one of us, God will come to bless us. We have been so good to IIU. IIU is the best, is the change. I remain the best. We keep on learning every day. We are all learners. All the trainers, God will come to bless you as you listen attentively. Make sure you all attend the program. It's just 3 days. You will learn wisdom. You learn a lot of things. And as you are learning, please try to give it out. That is what we want. As you are being empowered, we also empower other people. God come to bless every one of us. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Professor.
Thank you, everyone.
Madam.
Thank you, our great Vice Chancellor. Please, our attendees, we want you to
Thank you so
open
much.
the
Thank you so
camera.
much.
Please open the camera for a minute. We want to see you. And Dr. Queen, please, few words at the end. I see that you are very satisfied, and our great Dr. Queen is now summarizing what you say. Dr. Ravi, she's thinking about that. Dr. Queen. Am I right? You are now thinking, deep thinking.
I'm a deep thinker. I'm a great teacher. I'm a great learner. And I've learned a lot from Dr. Ravin today, Dr. Ravin Kumar. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm preparing for tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear my voice clearly tomorrow, because I've just been recovering from cough and cold. But tomorrow shall be another new day. So thank you,
Exactly.
sir, Professor Dr. Ravin Kumar.
Thank you.
You
Yes,
are a great trainer, trainees. And I want to say thank you, because my book, look, and I'm
Yes.
going to digest it overnight.
She will
Yes,
learn from tonight.
Nada,
Yes,
Nada, the
yes, we are
speakers are
finishing.
waiting. Let's end the meeting, please.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
okay. Till
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Stay
So
safe.
thank you.
Stay
See you
healthy.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye-bye.
night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Snikta, for the great program. Thank you so much. Thank you, our great founder. Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.